When you get off the ship in Valencia, no one really explains how this works, and it's not as simple as it used to be. There are multiple buses here. Some go downtown and some don't, and it's not always clear which one you need. So I'm taking the yellow bus here to the cruise terminal that nobody knows about because they're all confused. This is free, and it will take you to the bus stop. Now this part is actually straightforward. On our bus. Hi, I'm Bonnie from Bon Voyage Cruise and Travel, and after more than 55 cruises and visits to 78 countries, I enjoy helping you decide what's actually worth doing in the port and whether or not you can do it on your own. Let me show you what happens here and where I thought I had it figured out. Transmed cruise terminal. I think it's this way. Now this is important. Bus number 4 has a stop that is near the Cathedral and Old Town. And bus number 95 goes to a completely different part of the city, the Science Museum area, and not where I was planning to go. In this case, I thought I had it figured out, and I didn't. My plan was simple. I had done this before. Yes.
Where's he asking mommy?
Yes. There was a red public bus that cost €2. But you can see here, it's kind of showing you the line for 35 minutes. So you go straight this way to the left of it that way. That was my plan. Get on that particular bus and walk to everything. But when I got there, it didn't work like that anymore. This is where getting into Valencia on your own can get a little tricky. When I got to the port, things had changed. A representative from the bus company was standing at bus stop number 4 and redirecting us to bus number 95 across the street. We were told as a group, this is the one you need, this is the most direct into the city center. And I went along with it instead of trusting my gut. This is where it can get a little confusing if you're doing Valencia on your own. When we finally reached the end point of bus number 95, everyone got off the bus and went their own directions. I ended up across town, nowhere near the cathedral, with no Wi-Fi and no map. I had an eSIM, but I hadn't set it up yet. Note to self, always set up your eSIM at home before you even leave the house. So now I'm asking people, trying to figure out where am I, and everything is kind of on the diagonal and it's not straightforward. This is where I just had to slow it down, stay calm, and just start solving everything step by step. Because after all, I was a solo traveler. And like I said, at this point, everyone went their own way. I know that the rest of the group, the whole bus was filled with princess guests. And everybody was doing something different. I actually have been here before. I did a video on Valencia, but things have changed a bit, and that's why I'm wanting to update this. Now I took a bus I didn't feel like I wanted to take, but I was talked into taking it. And it put me in an area that I'm not familiar with, but I just talked to the bread lady in the supermarket. And she directed me to go left. Talked about some kind of a rotunda area, and it's a 5-minute walk. So let's see if it is. Have an advantage because no one expects me to be doing this. I see so many younger people vlogging, but you don't see people my age doing it. So it's kind of funny. I'm like incognito to crack up. I think I found it. Here is how it works right from the cruise port, and this is important to understand before you even get off the ship. There are many buses that you'll notice once you're off the ship. But you really have two main options. There are the shuttle buses that take you closer into the city, and those are provided by the cruise company. You pay 15 euros. I don't know if that's round trip or one way, and that brings you directly from the ship to downtown somewhere. Or you can take the free shuttle to the maritime terminal, the yellow bus, and there you can walk to the bus stop and take a public transportation to downtown. But the one decision you make, which bus to take, really determines how your day is going to unfold. Toward the end of the day, I was determined to find the correct bus back. 95 is pretty far from this. I'm going to try to find the bus I should have taken to begin with. I went back to the area where I remembered the stop used to be, and it had moved. Looks familiar. This bus stop, we have 26 to 16 and 6. So they've switched their route. Someone told me it was up the street to the right. I try to get the Wi-Fi, it doesn't work, so I am still venturing along without Wi-Fi. I asked at a coffee shop, and they told me where to go, but unfortunately the direction they pointed to was the wrong way. So I started walking, and after 15 minutes in, I knew something didn't feel right. I turned around and went back to the cathedral. And then I saw it. Bus number 4. Turning right in front of me. And that's when I realized where the new stop actually was. I am on right by the Silk building, kind of by the Central Market. Had I taken bus number 4 to begin with, I would have known that this was the new stop. But if you walk just straight ahead, there is the cathedral. Once I finally made it to the Old Town area after much searching, asking people, and trying to kind of use my gut instinct to get me somewhere. I'm so proud. I found where I wanted to go. Wow. I actually was able to see everything because it was all close together. This part of Valencia is beautiful. It's walkable, it's full of history, and it's very easy to explore once you get there. I visited the historic silk exchange site. I visited the cathedral. And I stopped for horchata and pastry at Santa Catalina, a little place that was near the church. Very cute. We have an horchata and a fartón. And it was pretty inexpensive. It was €5 for all this. This is what I learned from this particular experience. Things can change over a year or two, so even if you've done it before, don't assume the old system is still the same. Ask some questions or do your research ahead of time. Also, set up your eSIM. When you have Wi-Fi, you can do that at home, and that way it's ready to go when you are ready to turn it on, because it has to have Wi-Fi to work, and if you don't buy ship Wi-Fi, then you can't really set it up. Or have offline maps ready to go. The map they gave us from the ship was not a good one, so it didn't read well for me. And sometimes just go by your instinct, like I should have done. I should have trusted mine from the beginning. So if your goal is Old Town and the Cathedral and you just want to get a bite to eat and look around and come back to the ship, take bus number 4. Even though they'll tell you to take number 95, take number 4. Bus number 4, the actual stop to get off for the cathedral and all the things in the area, is the City Hall stop, but they call that in Catalan Plaça de l'Ajuntament. The return would be from the exact same area, but the bus direction would be towards the Maritime Cruise Terminal, and the stop is Pont de les Drassanes. And that is a bridge that is located near the Maritime Cruise Terminal, and you would just walk from there. If you want the Science Museum area, bus number 95 is fine. According to the website, the bus number 95 is best for tourists visiting the City of Arts and Sciences, Gulliver Park, and the city center. And if all of this feels a bit too much, the cruise shuttle or a guided tour is a very easy alternative. This is definitely a port you can do on your own, but it's not completely straightforward. If you are comfortable navigating, asking questions, and adjusting along the way, then it's very doable. But if you prefer something more structured, there are quite a few tour options available, especially smaller experiences like tuk-tuks, walking tours, bike tours that start right in the city center. I'll include a link if you want to take a look at those. They can be a nice middle ground, more flexibility than a cruise tour, but without the guesswork. And compared to the ship excursions, they often offer a little more variety. Would I do a solo adventure like this in Valencia again? Yes, but I would double check to make sure the bus schedules were correct and I knew exactly where I needed to be going. It was kind of crazy. I got lost. I went the wrong direction. And I ended up figuring it out. And I would go with what I knew to be the right answer from the start. In other words, hopping on bus 4. Also, one really important thing is I would make sure I got my eSIM squared away and it was ready to go. I hope this helped you better understand the buses in Valencia and how to plan your day from the port. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. And if you enjoy cruise tips like this, I'd love to have you subscribe. My pleasure showing you around Valencia, the highs and lows of solo travel. I mean, literally almost panicking because I couldn't figure out where I was going, and all the streets were all so similar. My sense of direction was off and there were no signs. My internet didn't work through the cobblestone or the brick of the buildings. I just luckily went back to where I started and I just happened to see the bus. But anyway, it's been my pleasure showing you around. Thank you so much for watching. Happy cruising, and until next time. Claire.